Good morning, everyone. This is Dr. M.K. Dev from the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences, Assam Downtown University. Today, I shall discuss rural sociology and family, kinship, and class. So, these are the three elements of rural society or rural sociology. Let us start from family and kinship. It is well known to us that family is the basic unit of almost all societies. It is especially true in India, where the very identity of a person is dependent upon the status and position of his or her family and its social strata. Family is one of the most important social institutions that constitutes the rural society. It caters to needs and performs functions which are essential for the continuity, integration, and change in the social system, such as reproduction, production, and socialization. Broadly speaking, there are two types of family. Number one, nuclear family consisting of husband, wife, unmarried children, and joint or extended family comprising a few more kins than the nuclear type. Important dimensions of jointness of the family are coincidentiality, commensality, and coparcenary. Generation depth and fulfillment of obligation towards keen and sentimental aspect. The first one includes that members of a family live under the same roof. The second one implies that they eat together, have a common kitchen, and third one means that they have joint ownership of property. Further, generation depth encompasses 3 generations or more, that is grandfather, father, and the son or more. Members of the family also have obligations towards their kin. Moreover, they have a sentimental attachment to the ideal of joint family. Rural family works as the unit of economic, cultural, religious, and political activities. Collectivity of the family is emphasized in social life, and feelings of individualism and personal freedom are very limited. Marriage is considered an interfamilial matter rather than interpersonal affair. It is governed by the rules of kinship. Now, changes in family, it indicates that traditional joint family occupied a predominant position in rural areas in India. It was largely prevalent among the legend gentry and priestly caste. But nuclear family also existed in India. Lower caste families, whose main occupation was agricultural labor, were mostly nuclear. However, they appreciated the ideal of the joint family. Various studies have been conducted to diagnose the change taking place in family in India with increasing industrialization and urbanization and changes in economy, technology, politics, education, and law in modern times. There are two approaches. The first assumes that the family structure in India has undergone the process of unilinear change from the joint to nuclear form as in the West. Secondly, Mr. I.P. Desai, S.C. Dubey, and T.N. Madan and others argued that It is necessary to observe family as a process. They adopt developmental cycle approach to understand changes in the family structure in India. They advocate that the presence of nuclear family households should be viewed as units, which will be growing into joint families when the sons grow up and marry. The developmental cycle approach implies that a family structure keeps expanding with birth and marriage and depleting with death and partition in cyclical order during a period of time. Further, empirical studies show interregional and intra-regional variations in the distribution of family types. This is evident from the study by Pauline Kolenda in the year of 1967, who has made a comparative study of family structures in 13 regions of India on the basis of 32 publications. In Uttar Pradesh, among the Thakurs of Senapur, joint families constitute 74.4% and nuclear families only 25.5%. But untouchables have 34% joint families and 66% nuclear families. In the hilly region of the state of Uttar Pradesh in Srikanda village, where most of the population is that of Rajputs, the joint family comprise only 39% and there are 61% nuclear families. In Maharashtra, the Badlapur village has 14% joint and 86% nuclear families. Again, in Andhra Pradesh, in Shamirpet village, the proportion of joint families is 18.5% and that of nuclear is 81.5%. Now let us talk about lineage and kinship. Within the village, a group of families tracing descent from a common ancestor with knowledge of all the links constitute a lineage, and the children of same generation behave as brothers and sisters. They form a unit for celebrating major ritual events. Sometimes the word kul, K-U-L, is used to describe these units. Usually, these families live in closeness and a guest of one, that means suppose son-in-law, could be treated as such in all these families. These bonds of families may go back to 3 to 7 generations. People do not marry within this group. Beyond the known links, there are further connections. People know the common ancestor but are unable to trace every link. So such families use a more generic term like being bhai-bandh of one another. They are also exogamous. The word gotra or clan may be used for them. Adrian Meyer, in the year of 1960, studied a village in Malwa and distinguished between the kindred of cooperation and kindred of recognition. The first of these is the smaller unit, where cooperation is offered and taken without formalities. The second one is larger unit that comes together on specific occasions through information and invitation. These relations can be spread over several villages for each caste. This is why Meyer studied them within a caste and region, a point that we need to remember in order to understand the spread of caste or subcaste across villages and towns. This is also known as horizontal spread of caste. With regard to rules of marriages, there are some differences between the North and South India. These have been pointed out in the later section. So later in American anthropologist David Mandelbaum included them in his popular work on society in India in the year of 1972. He pointed out the position, quote, broadly put, in the South, a family tries to strengthen existing kin ties through marriage, while in the North, a family tends to affiliate with a separate set of people to whom it is not already linked, unquote. This is witnessed in the prevalence of the rules of village exogamy and gotra exogamy in the North, but not in the South. In the North, nobody is permitted to marry in his or her own village. Marriage alliances are concluded with the people from other villages belonging to similar caste. But no proscriptions exist in the South. Further, in the North, one cannot marry within his or her own gotra. On this contrary, cross-cousin marriage, that means marriage between children of brother and sister, is preferred in the South. Thus, there is a centrifugal tendency in North India. That is, the direction of marriage is outward or away from the group. In contrast, in South India, we find a centripetal tendency in making marriage alliances and building kinship ties. In other words, marriages take place inwardly or within the group. So this is the basic understanding of rural sociology in terms of knowing family, kinship, and class. Thank you.